Hey everybody, I'm Blitz. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong, episode 11 before you. Last episode we ended up being with Gaicho. We figured out his ways. He was the murderer of the elders, and now we're headed back to Hoi, and we got this on the subway. The MTR rockets noiselessly toward Hoi along the edge of the Kowloon Bay. The black water glitters in the night in the light of 1,000 reflected storefronts. Gaicho stares sightlessly out the window, one hand pressed in the glass of the wampum. Elders are dead. They forced your hand, and they paid the price for it. Their story was cleverly crafted lie, meant to put the ghoul to his death for their greed. But it was a trade. What was the trade you made worth it? The uncertainty of that choice is as clouded as the sky above you. So all of the choices that you make are kind of turn around. So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure when you get back to it, and it's kind of neat. So hopefully it'll go. Here we go. All right. Get some rest. Go to the Emperor's Tomb Museum. It'll be right. Let's see. Feng Shui. Let's see. Let's check out. What do we want to do? So we can go back to liberate the artifacts. We can get some rest. I think we should get some rest. That'll open up something else probably. And the rest machine is over here. We can also talk to people, get some more stuff. And the mission computer is back in the space boat. And by space boat, I mean the actual ship, which is this way. We can talk to some more people here. I'm hoping that not much is going to be said. There's the smuggler. Huh. Was that here before? Smuggler. Two men in scintillated jackets look up from you in the conversation as you approach. They both look haggard, their shoulders slump with exhaustion, and neither appears to have shaved this morning. Good. What do you want, man? We're talking here. I'm new to the town. Figured I'd pay, make all the connections I can. And Graham chuckle. You chose the wrong day, stranger. We're moving further downstream, and we're doing it today. There's something wrong with this place. Too many bad dreams. Yeah, what sort of bad dreams? The kind that bite. You'll see if you stay here too long. I've already seen it. He licks his lips, nodding. Lots of people in town have dreamed it. Something like it. From the folks I've talked to, there's a bunch of different versions. Some people turned away from the corridors. Some went down alleys. That kind of thing. Never set foot in the walled city before, stranger, so tell me, why am I dreaming about it all of a sudden? I think there's something strange going on. Something magical, and the walled city is where it's coming from. It's a curse. Nothing else could be. It could be. Everyone knows the place is haunted, a living place full of living or evil spirits, poison chi. If you're not careful, you wind up trapped inside with the rest of the human garbage. It's going to happen to us. No way. The only lowest of the low wind up in the wall city. So like I said, we're going further downstream. Best of luck. Same to say to you, but you're staying here in Hoi after all. Of the three of us, you're the one who's most likely to need the luck. Alright, let's get on the boat. Get on the boat, the banana boat. Okay, and mission computer. Let's take our payment. We can take a rest too. Let's see. Workstation, mission computer. Blue tones. Check your inbox. Let's see. Access the jobs thing. Claim payment for the garden murders. Uh-oh. You submit payment and finish and wait for your response. A few moments later, message pops up on the screen. Kindly check. I ask you to solve the problem, and your method of solving it is to kill people I was doing a favor for. I have half a mind to throw you in the bay. Still, they are now more afraid of me than ever, and the money started flowing again, so I suppose that's something. I've attached your payment, 1,000 new yen, and they made it expectedly clear that they wouldn't have paid it at all except to ensure that you never come back to the gardens. Next time, try not to mess up the job so much. Okay, pending jobs, none, back to root. We're not going to go to the boards because that's just kind of goofy. We can go to the hatch. We can talk to our friends. That's Racter. Oh, that's the guy living in the basement. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. A downstairs tenant has converted the space into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and duraplastic series of liner walls. A pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a black trench coat stands his way back at you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor. His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of Russian accent there, but it's buried beneath layers of nuance. Please stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment. And unless you have fancy unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manners of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Take your time, I won't touch anything. Ah, you are very kind, thank you. Examine the robotic arms mounted to the ceiling. You focus on the enormous manipulator arms that you saw earlier. They're bulky, industrial things, dented from years of heavy use. Each arm has been fitted with at least a dozen different welders, solder guns, extruders, and metal fabrication tools. You've seen machinery like this in factories before, but they look terribly out of place in Bolthole's cramped engine room. Very good, yes, that's coming along nicely. Very nice indeed. He turns towards you, smiling. For the first time, you can see his face. He has a broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like that of a flecks of ice. So sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Blitz. No problem. Don't worry about it. You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for you? His voice trails off and a flash of emotion catches his eye. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. A machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man smiles. Smile tilts. His tone goes apologetic. Please, don't mind the drone. He can be territorial. As long as you remain civil, he will not bite. He extends a hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. Racter, my mechanical counterpart here is Kochi. Shake his hand. Sup, brother? A pleasure. His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. I'm very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Hoy, it's important to be on good terms with one's neighbors. Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions if you have the time. He glances in the bracer on his forehead. Technical display winks to life and gutters out. Very well. This morning's casting should be still cooling in a few minutes. Yep. It's enough time to talk. Kochi. God, yep, that dude. Yes, I suppose it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. Not to my heritage, I suppose. What was the fairy tale about? Thoroughly unpleasant person. Kochi the Deathless. I'm gonna go with Kochi. That's what I'm gonna say. And for good reason. His soul was cleverly hidden outside his body, and he could not be killed so long as it remained intact. He was a villain, a notorious kidnapper of women, and something about him always stuck with me. I suppose that it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so, when it came time to my beloved creation, his was my first name that came to mind. And so your drone, Deathless, like its namesake? He was a villain. Oh, yeah. Yep, like that one. Click that one. Matter of speaking, I suppose he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on a disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process, but I must confess, it was really quite ingenious. But alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Kochi will become as deathless as the stories claim. But it will not be today. Okay, when you said the morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said, casting locomotive assembly. Gestures displayed above the work. A biometric design, as you can see. The one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean. A mangrove crab, to be exact. You're designing drone parts here? Fabricating them, yes. How did you learn how to do that? More training and experience than I care to mention. Drone architecture was once my profession, and it's more of a calling. Okay, you're Russian? I thought I... Accent. Yes, you've got a good ear. I'm impressed. Yes, I grew up in... there. I went to school there, started my career there in the industrial sector. Very common story, I'm sure. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese, 15. Wow. It shames me to admit that I'm only literate in 12, however. That's amazingly impressive. Perhaps. Well, it's a fictional character. Compared to the common man. But I've known a great many polyglots who can... I mean, I could barely speak one language. Put me to shame. Another half shrug. Mirrors and gesture. Arabic has been a particular bugbear for me. The unfamiliar characters and a lack of vowels make it tricky to get a handle on. And I suppose all men have their limits. Got some interesting machinery, not all of them typically see outside corporate settings. The same could be said for many in Hoy. I'm sure this is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you? Robotic arms that you got there. They look something like taken out of an automotive assembly plant. Good guess, precisely what they are. They fell off the boat, as you might say. They weren't cheap, but I acquired them and they had them mounted to the wall of my shop. I simply had to have them. A return on investment has been dramatic, yes. They're cruder by far than Waldo devices that I use in my professional life. But they still get the job, and they are mine. Increase my fabrication abilities. Okay, whose payroll were you on? Something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you see. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I will tell you that I worked for Gershon Avacor, but you'll forgive me if I don't go into detail. How can you afford keeping it all running? Freelance. The risk of sounding immodest. I've commodified myself rather well. There's always corporations needing design consultants. You'd be surprised how lucrative such work can be, and there's always other work that I can turn in a pinch. What kind of other work? Rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe, but we're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are. Even in the personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it is, my freelance abilities often fall in illicit in the side of the spectrum. Oh, you're a Shadowrunner, aren't you? I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? Let's see. People on the up and up don't build murder bots for fun. Such a reductive assessment. I assure you, you're selling my little counterpart quite short. He is combat compatible, very much so. But that is far from his only purpose. He scuttles around, glowing his red eye toward the ground. Light glints off his metal of his armored chassis. Racter runs his hand over the drone's killing legs, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. That being said, I cannot deny his aptitude for butchery is important to my work. Should you ever get the opportunity to see him in action, you will understand why. Seems like everybody on the boat runs the shadows. Why not pool our resources and work together? A compelling offer. I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit there are certain jobs which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me. I'm not a decker. My strength comes from material objects in the real world, solid things with mass and heft, things that I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that can display a mastery over the intangible. This group of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps I can work something out. Yes, we have a shaman and a decker. Both are competent at their jobs. In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, I will continue. If not, I will bid you farewell. Back to my alone. How does that sound? Welcome aboard, Racter. Very good, excellent. When you receive a job, you'll know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. And with that, I'm afraid I must bid you good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. I'll be in touch. Looking forward to working with you. And I with you. Cool. So we got another dude. Oh, something over here. What does that do again? Oh yeah, that's the people thing. Oh, there's Gobbet down here. Got you. Hey, buddy. The storage room functions as Gaichu's cabin. It's cramped, overheated mess. Piles of old chip parts share space with tarnished cookware. Flats of instant noodles, a collection of cast-off clothes, rearms, and diagnostic manuals for obsolete computer hardware. And top it off all, there's barely any light whatsoever. All of the bulbs in this room are missing. Gaichu is busily moving boxes around, apparently in an effort to carve out some sort of personal space amid the junk he shares this cabin with. As you enter, he cocks his head and turns around. Welcome to my sanctuary, Blitz. I apologize for the lack of light, but as I do not need it, Gobbet took all the bulbs for use elsewhere. He puts down the box that he's in the process of moving and politely bows his head towards you. How can I be an assistance? I wanted to see how you were settling in. I live. I am among those who can make use of my services and who are not attempting to claim the bounty on my head. Is that enough for now? Any thoughts about this last run? What do you expect me to say? You have allowed me to live and invited me into your home or boat, if you prefer, and have given me a means to earn an income. In my particular set of talents, I am pleased with this. In addition, you allowed me to extract vengeance on those who had wronged me. To me, that says you understand the nature of reputation and fear in the shadows. I look forward to working with you. Been having any weird dreams? Yes, I have indeed. I had thought I was alone in this. No, you are definitely not alone. I saw a vision of shadowy shapes, rows upon rows of sharp teeth and stench of sulfur. My initial assumption was that I was simply dreaming of my fear becoming what so many assume of me, a monster without a mind. Does this coincide with the dream you have? Yes, very the same. Curious, a shared hallucination perhaps, flows in the Hong Kong ley lines. It's interesting, I had the same dream as you. Well, I was in Wampa Garden, and you were here. Were that not the case, I would call this boat haunted. You think it means anything? I have no idea, frankly, and I don't care. Omens and portents are powerful inducements to behave foolishly. That is crazy amount of words. I would suggest leaving the interpretation of the dreams to soothsayer and priests. I need to talk to you about your ghoulismness, as you wish. You are my benefactor, and such I yield to you. Ask then, and I will do my best to answer. Aside of being blind, aside of my heightened sense of smell and hearing, I am stronger, tougher, and more resilient than any murderous human. I can achieve feats of physicality that are normally restricted to adepts and those who are in intensive enhancement. He lifts one hand, fingers crooked to show off his long nails, claws, really. These, as well, as sharp as any small knife, I prepare my sword, but in a grapple they are extremely handy. Handy. He draws one nail over the surface of the shoulder plates. A fine hair spiral of armor peels off the nail's wake. Oh, do you still need to sleep? Unfortunately, I do. I'm not undead creature of legend. If I manage to unlock the secret of rest without sleep, I will be certain to inform you. Is the team safe? Because I have given my word that I will not harm you or anyone else on the team. I am a man with a disease, not a mindless beast. My word is my bond. I can accept that. Good. I would hate to think that lingering distrust between us. No, trust you all the way out, because I already ruined a different relationship. Seems your condition has stabilized. For now it has. I will not suddenly become a ravenous beast lurking in the hold of your ship. At least, no more than I already am. He grinned, dipping his head a little bit. Why did you pick the name Gaichu anyway? It was given to me. It's what the Japanese call ghouls. For the most part, I am a vermin. A thing, shunned by polite society, to be hunted and slain for a bounty. My old life is gone. I am seen as apt a name for the streets as any that I could choose. Usually, they pick something more impressive. Once I establish myself as a Shadowrunner of quality, the name will become impressive. Until then, I am unconcerned with what people think of it. Your armor is heavier than most Shadowrunners wear. More distinctive, too. That is correct. This armor is worn by the elite soldiers of the Raku corporate military, the Red Samurai. What are the Red Samurai? The military special operations division, most elite that the corporation has to offer, on par with the Air Forward or Terror Ghosts. The samurai are the world's class soldiers assigned to only the most difficult and important missions. How'd you manage to steal the suit? I did not steal it. It is mine. Ooh, you are a Red Samurai? Indeed, for the entirety of my adult life, I was a member of the military, specifically the Red Samurai. That changed relatively recently. I feel the reasons are abundantly clear. Probably because, he stole it. Yep. Hence, I still possess my armor, my sword, my training. They have served me well in both previous life and this one. How'd you up running in the shadows? What other employment is appropriate for a cannibal whose only previous experience is military operations? There are not many things I know how to do. This is one of them. It doesn't explain why you fled your own unit. In theory, the samurai are the ones who are wounded and are given the best medical treatment and cybernetics. If these are insufficient to return them to duty, they are given permission to retire. In practice, this is never the case. Red Samurai teams do everything together: eat, sleep, train, play. We learn to think for each other, move as a single entity. When part of that team is broken, it affects everyone. He runs his claws over his scalp, sighing. The other members of the unit would be distracted, thinking about a wounded comrade, and it would resent a new member for usurping the older member's place. So the wounded invariably take the same course of action. For good, the team, ritual suicide, seppuku. That's completely insane. I can understand the logic behind that. Can you? Then you are more open-minded than most who learn of the practice. Most believe it to be excessive and anachronistic, but it served the Red Samurai well, for the most part. In my case, I became infected while on a sabotage mission against Shiawase in Osaka. The unit was exfiltrating on foot from Nanawa Ward through the Arichaku slums. My Cantonese or any Asian reading is just terrible all the time. We had not anticipated a ghoul nest under our route. My surprise got the better of me, and I was bitten. Understand that since the passage of Yamato Act, Japan is a pure country. Metahumans are deported and infected with HMHVV. It is to be less an animal. You'll be killed on sight. Since this was, in fact, the same thing as being permanently crippled in the eyes of my team, I was expected that I would kill myself. Why didn't you? Because I was still capable of fighting. I questioned the necessity of suicide. Why should I die? If I was still having an effect as before, why, or was I not worth having simply because my diet changed? One does not discard a quality tool simply because the surface is stained. I made a decision to leave while the unit was allowing me time to prepare my expected suicide. I took nothing but weapons, armor, and a small number of personal mementos. I knew that the unit would hunt me down and kill me. Ghouls are considered vermin in Japan. To have a red samurai become one and refuse to die? Unconscionable. How long did it take them to find me? They found me 2 weeks after I ran. I was careless and fled south. They caught up with me in that city, but I escaped, barely. It was that point I decided that I should leave Japan. I knew they would not stop hunting me, but I could make it more difficult for them. How did you end up in Hong Kong? I was searching for a cure. I needed a place where I could disappear in the shadows, find work, and even evade capture if a cure did not materialize. The Yamato Act meant that it was even more dangerous to be in Japan than anywhere else. He smiles thinly, leaning back on his heels. I went to China, primarily because I still hoped to be able to return home. It felt less final if I fled to somewhere else nearby. First I went to Shanghai, and we ended up in Hong Kong. Where else can anyone arrive and disappear without carrying one whit? Seattle comes to mind. If they were not building that tower arcology to dominate the skyline, I would agree with you. Since it is clearly that kind of influence in the city, it seemed unwise to make my residence there. Besides, I've always liked Hong Kong. It's more character than the UCAS. Since arriving here, I've drifted between neighborhoods, selling my services to those who are unafraid of my appearance and condition. He frowns deeply. It has not been as profitable as I hoped. Did you grow up in a corporation? Yes. Okay, he grew up there. You can read that because I can't. A young man, obviously Gaichu, leans against a railing which overlooks a sprawling harbor complex of skyscrapers and cranes. His school uniform is ripped, the beginnings of a black eye are forming. Abrasions cover his knuckles and blood dot his pants. Despite this, he's grinning like he just won the lottery. Vibrant, fierce. Like you haven't changed much. How do you mean? I'm able to see which picture is being displayed. You look like you got in a fight. Ah, it must be Mount Maya. If I remember right, I gave better than I got in that fight. 3 against 1, but they were out of shape and cocky. I used to cause a lot of trouble when I was in school. My father was constantly raging that I had no sense of responsibility, and that I needed to take life more seriously. The final straw was when he bailed me out of jail. Whoa. I've been in jail a few times. What'd you do? Friends and I stole a delivery van. It had a shipment of Shiawase SimSense decks. Brand new. Very expensive. We were going to fence them and use the money to take a trip to Okinawa. Cocking his head as he pauses. Are you familiar what it's like to grow up in a corporate family? Not a clue. You have to understand, children are trained to hate rival corporations. We did not regard a theft of Shiawase's goods as illegal. We were simply doing our part to ensure Renraku's supremacy. This kind of behavior is ignored and even tactically encouraged by company media. Unfortunately, we were caught by security, not Renraku. Your father approved, even secretly? I doubt it very much. For him, the activity was not the issue. It was that I was caught and embarrassed both him and the company. He is much a man who believes that there is a proper way to do things. And once again, I had to cut the corners. What did your father do next? That's a story for another time. Unfortunately, I still have a lot of arranging to do. I doubt anyone else will be willing to be alone with me in the darkened room. Come back later and I can discuss things. Okay, that's what you want. It is. Thank you again for your hospitality. Alright, so we learned a little bit about him. Oh, we can check the box of mementos. We can look at other things. Personal effects, wooden mask. Oh, we already did that. Leave the box alone. Sorry, brother. Alright, stash, upstairs. Okay, we could go... Let's go in here. I think this is going to be the nap adventure. We could go up top and talk to the other people. Oh, there's buddy there. Here's Isabel. Gobbet's in there, I think. The living space utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rig computer, serpentine cavern snake, the component to component, lying dozens of obsolete terminals, cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine if you're looking for your mission computers downstairs. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you. Got a second? What are you talking about? Yeah. Ask you a few questions? Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Having weird dreams? I think we already done that. Me too. You want to tell me what the dream was about? Not particularly. Any thoughts about the last run? I thought I wouldn't miss the Wampanians. And you know what? I don't. They're all a bunch of pompous, cliquish tech junkies who act like they're in high school. All backstabbing and whispered gossip. The elders are the worst of them. Always pitting their cronies against each other. They're useful allies, but I don't want to deal with them directly again. Don't worry, we don't have to. You're in high school inside there? Well, I didn't exactly go to high school, or any school for that matter. But I've watched a lot of Trid, and I hang out in the Matrix all day. I think I have a pretty good idea what teenagers are like. I can't believe the elders would be stupid enough to try to shirk a payment on a Shadowrunner, a ghoul Shadowrunner, who's dressed like a red samurai. I mean, that's pretty much screams bad idea on the face of it. What did they think was going to happen? They're good in the Matrix, but what do they got a lot to learn about dealing with the Shadowrunners? Want to know anything else? Nope. I gotta go, Isabel. Sure, drop by anytime. So sometimes those will update, sometimes they won't. Here's Gobbet. Gobbet. Gobbet's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground, overflowing garbage bins surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping some places and peeling others. It feels a lot like art school dorm room. She reclines in the corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, the cast iron pot shimmers away in an electric hot plate. Its contents are typical Hong comfort, chicken-style soya broth. Okay, as you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, she slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, Seattle. How's tricks? No, they've been a lot better. You can stop calling me Seattle. Something better than that? Of course I can. I can come up with a lot of things. Can't promise you like them, though. Tell you what. Why don't you just tell me what you want? Personally, I like Boss. Killer. Street name. You go by your street name. Why don't you call me mine? Mouthful to say, but hey, that's what you want, so be it. Blitz it is. So Blitz, you want to tell me about what you're doing in my bedroom? How'd you decide on the name Gobbet? My mom did. So Gobbet's your given name? Yeah, sure. I don't think she knew what it meant. She just thought it sounded pretty. You should get used to that. By the way, people here in Hong Kong like to stand out, and choosing unique names is one way they do it. So if you're up to talking about it, I wanted to go over the ambush back at the docks with you. Wow. Yeah, I thought you would. What a thing. You could say that. It was awful. Nightjar and Gutshot were the two strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I've watched those two to fight through situations that kill anyone and come out on top. And they know how to get out. She mimes holding a rifle, makes short peering sights down the scope. Bang, bang, dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguish, smashed like bugs. They went quick and clean. We should be so lucky. No way, not me. When I die, I want to know what's coming. I just winking. Oh, like that's the worst thing I can imagine. Even a drawn-out, painful death would do better. At least I'd have to say time to say my goodbyes. You can keep your goodbyes. I'll take a short road to oblivion any day. Well, we agree to disagree. But if nothing else, you'd want a chance to decide whether to go it easy or not, right? You want to take that option come to your mind? Nightjar and Gutshot. They never got the chance. It was taken away from them. Carter didn't get the choice either. She went down Alpha Strike, just like your teammates did. Yeah, she seemed like a good woman. Tough, skilled, light on her feet. But in the end, it didn't matter. Because she was some jerk with a rifle made a decision half a mile away. You got us out of there, though. We're still alive because of you. It was more rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gut and led me to the sewer entrance. All I did was follow. I'd like to learn more about this. What kind of totem does she have? A clever one. She's gotten me out of a lot of trouble. More than I care to mention. Got me out of a fair amount of it, too. But I can always count on her to lead me out of hot water when I need her to. I can feel it in my belly, you know? Just sort of a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I wasn't aware that totems struck direct control of their shamans. They usually don't. Me and a rat, we have sort of a species bond. She takes care of me, and I've always done my best to take care of her. And to pamper her earthly children. Like these two. Meet Madness and Folly. Huh, interesting names. I think it was Folly. Yeah, it was. I like the way they sound. Madness and Folly. It has a nice ring to it. She brushes her fingers across the rat's monocode. Did we already go through this? Kind of remember that. My girls remind me not to take myself too seriously, and I wouldn't trust Folly, though. She bites. No, we didn't. So how did you come across them? You seem to be comfortable with all this. Running in the shadows for a while? A long time. Started when I was a kid. What are you, 19? Something like that. Your guess is as good as mine. Doesn't change the fact that I've been doing this for years. You started yesterday. Matter of fact, Blitz, I think I'm gonna make a project for you. Take you under my wing, so to speak. You need a wizened mentor, may it be. Weren't you wizened by Gobbet back in Seattle? Wizened? Sure. I could use the advice. I don't see Isabel volunteering the job anytime soon. Good. Starting next time you visit, I'm going to teach you all you need to know about being a Shadowrunner. You're going to benefit from my bountiful experience. Wait and see. Looking forward to it. Gobbet stretches, stiffs a yawn, a rat scurry from her shoulders, taps a shimmering pot on the floor with her boot, and soup inside reduced down. Okay, you know, Blitz, this has been a chit-chat and all, but it's getting late. Yeah. So without this getting awkward, say no more. I'll get out of your hair. Take it easy, Gobbet. Yeah, you too. Okay, so we left that one. We can talk to Gun Show or Woo down here. No, in here. We'll do this quick and then we'll take a nap and we'll go on to the next adventure. Woo's cabin appears to be the only clean spot in this, I was going to say butthole. His equipment is neatly laid out on bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He's cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. Yep, time to catch up? Could be. That's why we're maintaining my equipment. It helps me focus my brain, work through stuff. Now it's as good as time as any, I guess. Where do you want to start? Let's talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think's going down with him? I don't know, Blitz. He was clearly obsessed with the walled city and whatever prosperity it is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners. Whatever he's doing, he knew it would be dangerous. Raymond was smart. Very smart. If he thought he needed runners to take him into a place, he needed them. Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? It sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? Maybe. Just something to think about. Did he say anything about me after I left? You know Raymond, Blitz. He taught us what he wanted to teach us. He told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it is out of your mouth, it is out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. Let's talk about something else. Sure, ask away. Let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What's there to say? I worked hard to pull myself out of the gutter to make something in my life. And I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary hiding in the shadows of a foreign country, doing dirty jobs that the Corps need to keep off the books. It's a reverse of everything I've ever wanted. You seem to be taking it pretty well. So let me ask you something. You said you had nothing back home. That's why you were cool with becoming a runner. Is that true? You know it's true. When I got out of prison, I had nothing. I still have nothing. That's bleak. Seriously bleak. We really went in different directions, Blitz. You to jail? Me to the Lone Star. Well, I get what you've got nothing to run back to. Wow. Well, I get that you've got nothing back home. But this is all about Raymond for me. I need to understand what happened to him and who's responsible. I need grape juice. What's your opinion of Kindly Chang? She's a dirty criminal. She's got us right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want me to talk about specifically? What do you think she wants from us? As long as our network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least not for now. For now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. Think we can trust her? Tried boss from Underground Fixer? No, I don't think we can trust her. But as long as we share the same goals, we should be okay. She's a snake. I'll take her confidence. Look, it's simple. She provides jobs. We do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man and figure out what's going on. We figure out what's going on. She doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of the river. Everyone wins. What about this plastic-faced man? Creepy dudes are nothing new for me. Even well-dressed creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and the junk we ran into as cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bow. We should keep an eye on everybody. That guy is definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers and barons, and plenty more since I joined the Lone Star. This guy is the real deal. I'm sure if he knows what word remorse even means, you should steer clear of him. I'll be careful. I can see that. Let's talk about something else. Gobbet and Isabel. They seem to be competent, considering how young they are. But then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us work together in the well-walled city wall. Based on that, I bet the four of us would make a solid crew. Do you trust them? As far as I trust any runner, yeah. It's like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me any reason not to trust them. So until they do, I'll believe what they say and keep my eyes open. I can't get that dream out of my head. What do you think of the last run? I don't know, Blitz. I've had enough ghouls for one lifetime. The barons were full of them. Remember what the 162s did to that Aslander family? And lived by the Old Town Crater? Remember how we found them? It's not the kind of thing you forget. Tooth marks on the bones. Sure, they're asking for it. They're keeping second-hand organs in a walk-in freezer. I mean, what do you expect? Yeah, but still, nobody deserves to go out like that. I don't know, Blitz. I don't think I'll ever get comfortable having a ghoul on our crew. I guess if it was a good thing to help them, though, you'd rather have a ghoul on the team than a ghoul obsessed with vengeance. Who knows what he would do to get it. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? I can't get that dream out of my head. Yours sounded like a real nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. It was pretty creeped out by our run in the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I don't have a nightmare. Was the city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Was it in your dreams? Sure looked like it. And I'm not sure I'm surprised. Walled city is more than just another slum on Sprawl. It is a sprawl. Of course we dreamed about it. The feeling that I had stayed with me. Felt of thick, heavy. And I got an overwhelming feeling, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. You remember anything about yours? Wall City was breathing and had teeth everywhere, and there was a tunnel that was so bright that I had to shut my eyes. And Raymond was there. Either he was kneeling or lying down, I can't remember which, but he was crying. From what it made me wake up, it sounded my father dying. You feel any differently? You know, sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up and you're still mad at him. Then you treat him like you did something wrong when you see him. It kind of feels like that to me. Like I dreamed I was swimming towards a bright light, and I woke up, and I was out of breath and effort. Let's talk about something else. Alright, let's talk later. Later, good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam. Then let's rack up time. You should do the same. A couple hundred push-ups would do good. I don't think so, but hey, knock yourself out. You're lost. Talk to you later, brother. Alright, well guys, I think that's going to do it. I'm kind of deciding, like, I don't know, sometimes if you get rest, like if you extend things, then you get like another dream. Do we have, oh, we have karma. We'll spend karma next episode. As if we really need it. We haven't really had any battles. We'll do that, and we'll probably go to sleep too. So, keep your stick on the ice. And thanks for watching.